So I'm going to be crazy, and I'm going to try and mesh two different genres into one. At least for this one. This is my first attempt at a motovlog, and I'm going to talk about some trucking stuff. You know, since, you know, anybody who's watching this probably already knows me for my trucking videos, you know, I'm going to babble on a little bit. One of the questions I get asked a lot, being as I used to be a lease operator with Swift Transportation, is should I lease a truck from Swift Transportation? And the answer to that is actually kind of complicated. There are two answers, really. The short answer is no. The long answer is it really depends. Because if you're doing it because you want to make more money, you're really not going to. I mean, the potential is there, but the reality of the situation is you won't make more money. You can make much more money as a company driver when you really think about it. Because as an owner-operator, you're responsible for paying all of your own taxes, okay? You know, you don't have any taxes deducted, and it works out to roughly about 30% of your gross income. Now, I leased a truck from Swift for about 2 years, okay? After all of my expenses and everything, my gross income was right around 32 grand a year, okay? Out of that 32 grand, I owed 8 grand in taxes. So that means my net income was right around 24 grand. $24,000 for being out on the road like 330 days for the year. That's not much money, okay? I mean, 26 grand, that's below the poverty line. And it's not that I wasn't getting miles, it's not that I wasn't working hard. It's just Swift pays garbage, and when they don't give you any fuel discounts, they don't barely even give you a fuel surcharge, it's just not worth it financially. Now, freedom-wise, it's worth it because you can have like an inverter, you can reject loads, you can take a day off whenever you want. You can tell them whenever you want to be home. You could take as many days off as you want. Whereas a company driver, you pretty much take 3 days and then you have to turn in your truck. I mean, you know, it's worth it in that respect. And I'd say if you have a family that relies on you to make money, don't do it. Stay a company driver, because as a company driver, you're never going to have a week where you make negative money. Whereas as an owner-op or a lease operator, that's fairly common. Pretty much any time you go home, your first week, you're not making anything at all, like nothing. So, you know, there's that. Also, the other thing is when you lease a truck from Swift, if they terminate your contract for any reason, they get to keep that truck. And they can terminate your contract pretty much at will with no reason. That contract is completely lopsided. They don't owe you a damn thing. Okay? The only reason they lease trucks is to shift the financial burden and the risk onto the driver. That's it. That's the only reason they do it. It's not altruistic. It makes them money. It makes them lots of money. And they know that they have you by the short and curlies. And, you know, you're going to do what needs to be done to be able to pay that truck payment. It's essentially indentured servitude. Now, that's leasing a truck. My recommendation is buying your own truck. You know, if you look around hard enough, you can find an older truck. You know, it's not going to be California legal or anything, but who wants to fucking go to California anyway? But you can find an older, you know, pre-emissions truck for between $20,000 and $30,000. It's actually a decent truck. And you could sign that truck on to a company like Mercer, which is where I work now, Mercer Transportation. And I make really good money with them so far. And this is January, and I've turned a fairly decent profit with them in January, which in the trucking industry is ridiculous. I mean, January you usually don't make any money, you know, but I've actually, when I left Swift December 9th, I was a month and a half behind on my truck payment. And now I'm fully caught up on my truck payment, and I have some money to burn, you know. So, you know, and Mercer actually pays really well. They give you fuel discounts. Like, my fuel discount's ridiculous. When I fill my tank, I could make, or I could save like $110, $115 per tank. It's kind of crazy. And they give me the full fuel surcharge. They pay me 75% of the rate, which is pretty standard. And you know, I have to rent a trailer from them, which works out to almost $600 a month, which actually isn't bad. That's about what I'd spend on payments if I got my own trailer. And there are other companies out there that may be a better fit for someone, like Landstar or Interstate, or even Schneider has a pretty good load board program. But my recommendation in that respect is get to a company where you can pick your own freight. You know, I don't recommend running your own authority, because that's just a pain in the butt if you're doing a solo operation. As far as leasing a truck from Swift goes, the only time that would even make any kind of financial sense is if you're married and your wife is driving with you and you have no kids. Because then you can make really good money. You know, as a lease truck with Swift, and this is before taxes, I was lucky to make $800 a week. I could do that as a company driver after taxes. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. You know, that's just the way the situation is. So, yeah, like I said, plain and simple, you know, don't. You know, because it's just not worth it. You know, if you're going to lease a truck, there's much better companies to lease from. Like I said, Schneider Finance has a good one. Let's see, Landstar, you go to them, they can even work out a deal with Lone Mountain for you to lease a truck. But unlike Swift, it's not going to be zero down. You know, so there's that. You know, in the interest of keeping this video short, I'm going to end this one right now, and I'm going to go and do another one that I'll post later if you're interested in it. And I'm going to be talking about the lawsuit that Swift just lost. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and watch the next video I put up. For now, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up, and you know, drive safe.